Hello YouTube, DT here. Back after a little break. I'm happy to be back. Today what I have in front of you is what I consider to be a rather underrated chess set. This is the Zurich, if I'm pronouncing that right. I believe designed by House of Staunton, but I'm not exactly sure. I bought it quite a few years ago. Don't remember when, I don't even remember the year, and I don't remember what I paid for it. Unfortunately, those two details really escape me right now. But what I do know is that I didn't buy it from House of Staunton. I do believe I probably bought it from Wholesale Chess. So that's as far as the background of this particular set. That's all I have for you. Let's dive right in, and again, let's begin with the application. This is a plastic set, and for that reason I believe it would serve us very well in a tournament role. Fast play, we'll get to that when we talk about the dimensions. The bases are really broad, giving us a lot of stability. They are really affordable even at this point in time. If you go to House of Staunton's website, you can buy it for under $28, $27.95. Which for a set of this quality I believe is outstanding value, really. And I'll mention some competitive options here in a minute to illustrate that point even further. But yeah, so in terms of fast play, tournament play, these pieces would be outstanding. Would I display them in a cigar room like I always talk about? Well, maybe not, and that's probably because if I had to pick a set to show off, I'll probably go with one of my wooden sets. But certainly, if this is all you have, I think you will be able to display them proudly because they're really nice set. Despite the fact that they're plastic. I don't think being plastic takes anything away from it. I'm just talking about in general terms. If your friends come over. For us, chess addicts, chess lovers, we see a plastic chess set and we see as much beauty in them and intricacy as we would in a wooden set. So that will be application in a nutshell. How about the design and flow? I give this one, say, an 8 out of 10. And the reason why, I believe all the pieces here just have a beautiful flow, excellent design. I just really wish they would have made those pawns a little beefier. They have that really narrow part in there. To kind of compare and contrast, I grab the pawns from the very comparable Hastings series. And when I say comparable, the Hastings series is a plastic set that comes from House of Staunton as well, at a ridiculously low price of $25. Really, for a set like this is crazy. And if you compare the pawns, now I'm not saying that the Zurich pawns should be as thick as that, but I would probably make them somewhere in between, not this thin. So yeah, that's a minor detail. We'll talk a little bit more about the Hastings series here and when I talk about competitive options for the Zurich. How about the quality of the material? The plastic, well, it's hollow plastic and it has these metal inserts at the bottom to give them weight. I have played a fair amount with these pieces. I don't put any of my chess pieces through a very rigorous chess or play or anything. So I can really say for sure, but as far as I can tell, for just regular use, they will be plenty durable. When I did buy this set, in some of the pieces, particularly one of the rooks, had a crack along the seams. That was replaced by the vendor, again, who escapes me right now, but I believe it was Wholesale Chess. Could have been the chess store if they ever carry this set, but I'm not sure. So they replaced that. and that could have been shipping, that could have been manufacturing. But since then, I haven't had any issues. So that would be for quality materials. This plastic, dressed material, craftsmanship. I guess the only issue I could point out would be the. Let's see if this will decide to focus here. Be on the crown. I think the light might be a little too bright. Now if my battery dies here, guys, I will change it in a second. I'll pick it right up where I left off. Sure enough, the battery did die. Before I had to replace the battery, I was trying to point out, hopefully it will focus just because light is a little bit bright here. So I'm having a hard time seeing through the viewfinder, the little screen. The fine lines here at the crown of the queen are rather rough. Certainly I could go in with some, I don't know, sandpaper and minimize that. But it's not bad enough to where it really would drive me to do something like that. There's something to point out though. A little rough there. Could have been done a little bit nicer. Now, really, when you consider the price point in what you get, going back to the point of how underrated I believe this set is, I think it's something we can overlook for the most part. But I think if I was to be absolutely honest with you guys, I really need to point that out for you. So that will be craftsmanship and finish. Other than that, no issues. Maybe the occasional, ugly spot there on the seams, like that. The seams are nice. For the most part. Let's see. As you can tell, very well made set. Let's talk about weight and balance. The website, at least currently, I bought these pieces a long time ago. But the set is currently advertised at House of Staunton at 52 ounces for the whole set. My scale, and that is including the box, came out 44. So a little bit less, 44 ounces. So yeah, however, they're extremely well weighted. These are not light pieces. They're not, of course, the collectors, the plastic collector series I have right here to show you. Here comes the white queen from the collector series. Granted, that is a taller king. It is substantially heavier than the Zurich. Yet you're paying basically $44.95 at this point in time, end of 2014 for the collectors, and you're paying again $28 for Zurich. So something to keep in mind. But that is not to say that this set is not extremely well weighted. Really nice. Different price points altogether. Collectors comes with actually real felt. Zurich with this thin fabric. It's not actually paper, but it's not felt. Still durable though. I had it for many years, plenty of use, and still looking brand new. Now the height of the king is advertised at 3.875 inches, and according to my caliper, the king is 3.814, so a little bit shorter than advertised. The base though is broader than advertised. It comes advertised at 1.7 inches, the diameter of the base, and according to my caliper, the diameter of the base on this king is 1.73, making the set extremely weight balanced, very nice. And by the way, if you're wondering, the ratio is 45 inches diameter of the base to height of the king, and I was talking about that because it corresponds to standards to tournament requirements by FIDE and US Chess Federation. So that is that in terms of weight and balance. Resemblance to photo, well, they're plastic, so of course they tend to resemble photographs extremely well. No surprises there, you get what you see basically. So competitive options again, we kind of talked about it real quick. The Hastings series, and I'm going to grab the pieces here. So bear with me just a second. Here we have the king, the queen, also in the same finish, black and natural. Here the knights from the Hastings series, perhaps one of the most beautiful knights I have, in my collection or that I have seen. I would throw these against the collector series any day of the week. We need a bishop, rook, and pawn, and here they are. Now this is not to be a comparison or a review of the Hastings. It's just to illustrate the point that the Hastings offer a really close competitive option to the Zurich series chessmen. The only thing, and we can compare that with the scale, I do feel just by grabbing the pieces that the Zurich might be a little bit heavier than the Hastings. Hastings are also taller. The reason why I'm comparing these two here and putting them against each other as competitive options, because of the price. You pay 25 at this point for Hastings series. I think that's outstanding. So let's look at the Zurich's 2.8 ounces. Again, it's beautifully weighted, especially at this price point. 2.4. Okay, so I was right. A little bit lighter, not by much, and a little bit more affordable. So that's competitive options. Something interesting to note is that I don't really know who comes up with the designs and how much each vendor influences the others when it comes to the designs. But it turns out that the chess store used to sell a really similar set at a much more affordable price. They called it the club tourney. Now, granted, these pieces are extremely lightweight. They're not weighted at all, basically. Not to mention, when I purchased the club tourney, again, kind of like, but information for next reviews coming up. They're not fully hollow, but they had a big hole in them. So what I did is I filled them up with BBs and resin to give them more weight, because they were really, really light. That's why I'm not putting it on the scale, because it wouldn't really represent the weight that the actual weight of the piece, and I never recorded that. But just to compare though, these pieces used to sell for under 10 bucks. Now I went to the website chess store and I couldn't find them. I don't know if they're discontinued or if right now they're out of stock, or if maybe my internet was giving me problems or something, but I couldn't see the price as of right now today. So just to compare, okay, and the reason why I'm pointing this one out here is because at 28 versus under 10, it really opens, the market for more people to grab one of these sets if they can afford to pay $30 which could be a lot of money for a chess set. And aside from being much lighter, you still get something pretty close to them. So here are in detail showing you. Okay. Let's move over to the knights, and I think this is where like they are so much alike. Sure, the clip turnies here on the left, they have certain differences in the design. Of course, they're not identical, but pretty close. I will be reviewing the other sets I'm showing you eventually. How about the bishops? Probably the most similar of the pieces. And again, Zurich on the right, club tourneys on the left. How about the rooks? Zurich on the right, club tourney on the left. A little shorter, but overall very similar at a much more affordable price. Way under $10 for the club tourneys. Okay, Zurich here, right hand, and club tourney on the left again. Isn't that similar? Kind of wondered, you know, how is it that they can do this without infringing on their designs? I am no lawyer, and to me, the more competitive options we get, the better. And finally, the pawns. So similar. Okay. So that will be that, guys. Thank you for watching. Again, as you can tell, I'm trying to make these videos as short as I can. No guarantee though that they will be short, but I'm trying. Perhaps, actually, next video I might have something sort of unexpected. I have been reviewing wholesale chess and House of Staunton items. Now I'm showing you real quick a little bit of the chess store. But next review hopefully will be something unexpected for most of you. If not the next review, it will be certainly the one after. So hope you guys like this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so you know when the next video comes up. I have a rather sporadic production here because I have a busy job and I am a musician and I play in a band. So I have a lot going on. I have kids. Life is busy, but I'm trying to produce these videos as time allows. If you like them, please let me know, and if you don't like them, let me know too, so that I can make them even better. Thank you for watching. Keep the chess addiction alive, guys, and cheers. Hello YouTube, DT here. Back after a little break. I'm happy to be back. Today what I have in front of you is what I consider to be a rather underrated chess set. This is the Zurich, if I'm pronouncing that right. I believe designed by House of Staunton, but I'm not exactly sure. I bought it quite a few years ago. Don't remember when, I don't even remember the year. And I don't remember what I paid for it, unfortunately. Those two details really escape me right now. But what I do know is that I didn't buy it from House of Staunton. I do believe I probably bought it from Wholesale Chess. So that's as far as the background of this particular set. That's all I have for you. let's dive right in, and again, let's begin with application. This is a plastic set, and for that reason, I believe it would serve us very well in a tournament role. Fast play, we'll get to that when we talk about the dimensions. The bases are really broad, giving us a lot of stability. They are really affordable even at this point in time. If you go to House of Staunton's website, you can buy it for under $28, $27.95, which for a set of this quality, I believe is outstanding value, really. And I'll mention some competitive options here in a minute to illustrate that point even further. But yeah, so in terms of fast play, tournament play, these pieces would be outstanding.